I'm wondering if one of the approaches to talking to Fox News addicts would be, why would you want to get your news from millionaire news, whatever, news reporters from a network run by a billionaire for the benefit of billionaires? But I'm guessing that what they would say to you or to anybody else as well, people on other networks are paid millions also, not on Free Speech TV, I will add, but it's big pay. And once you get on major network television, and they're all owned by giant transnational corporations too. And, which is true. And it's why our media doesn't talk about things like net neutrality in a meaningful way, because there's money to be made. Bill in Winnetka, Illinois. Hey, Bill, what's up?
Hi, Tom. How you been?
Good.
So I work with trauma victims on a regular basis as a victim of violent crime myself, and I read your book, Walking Your Blues Away, recently, and in the course of my work, and as well as a lot of other work. And what we're seeing here is this low level of danger messaging that's being pushed into people's subcortical limbic system non-thinking processes by Fox News on a daily basis.
You're right. It's the marketing of terror.
Yeah, it's brainwashing, and and when you get people to start fearing, there was a study done recently that it only takes about a 10% increase in your adrenaline level on a constant basis to pretty much get the thinking part of your brain to shut down.
Right, and then you go into fight or flight mode.
Exactly, and these people are fighting and they're flighting, basically.
Right.
And you can't argue with them because that just activates their crisis response. Sometimes humor helps. That's what helps with me and my mom. She's into this stuff, and and maybe it's just because they're lonely. They need somebody to talk to or listen to or get their information from.
Yeah.
But the other thing that helps me is when I talk to my mom, I make her do her own research. Since I know that pretty much everything she tells me is going to pretty much virtually be a lie, I say, that's not true. And then I force her to go back and do the research, or at least back off a little bit.
Yeah.
She actually told me one day on the phone, she was sick and tired of hearing about how we have to all love one another, after I had told her that this is an important part of living together as a community. And
right.
I thought, my God, is this a woman who taught me this in Sunday school?
Yeah.
There's a
Fox News is,
you may be interested
in my opinion, anti-Christian as well. Here's what Franklin Roosevelt had to say about the technique and strategy that they use over there. Here's FDR.
Remember, a number of years ago, there was a book, Mein Kampf, written by Hitler himself. The technique was all set out in Hitler's book, and it was copied by the aggressors of Italy and Japan. According to that technique, you should never use a small falsehood, always a big one, for its very fantastic nature would make it more credible. If only you keep repeating it over and over and over again.
The big lie strategy. Bill?
Absolutely. These are trauma victims.
Yeah.
And they need to be treated like trauma victims. They're suffering from PTSD. And that's one of the best things we can do for them, is to treat them like trauma victims. And there's some really good advice in your book about that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, in Walking Your Blues Away. Thank you, Bill. I think you're absolutely right.